From the WAPI team, facing a lack of funding, the statewide public defender says he plans to go to lawmakers this session in hopes of getting a stabilized funding stream. The state public defender is over 42 district offices, and this morning the state legislative auditor revealed 12 of those offices spent more than the revenue than they had coming in. Our chief investigator Chris Nakamoto spoke to Remy Starnes, the Louisiana public defender, who says the audit doesn't depict the true challenges they face. Chris.
Well, good evening, Liz. Remy Starnes says right now their office gets money through multiple funding mechanisms, but much of that money is not guaranteed. Tonight, he says to keep the justice system moving, their office needs to be adequately funded. Totally unrelated to recent news about layoffs coming to the East Baton Rouge Parish Public Defender's Office, Monday morning, the state legislative auditor released this audit showing 12 different public defenders' offices spent more money than they took in what the state calls deficit spending. Remy Starnes is the statewide public defender.
The legislative auditor does a fine report, but our system of funding in our public defender system is unique.
Currently, the Public Defender's Office is paid for by 3 funding mechanisms: conviction and user fees imposed by courts. In East Baton Rouge, the parish helps supplement the office, and the rest of the funding comes from a state supplement to be distributed across the 42 different public defenders in Louisiana.
And we do not have a solvency problem. We have a funding source problem. The conviction user fees are unreliable, and they can go up or down based on a whole bunch of factors outside of our control.
Echoing Starnes' sentiments for more dedicated funding, EBR public defender Kyla Romanak told WAFB last week the implications will be felt for years if something isn't done to shore up money in her office. Her office is currently facing a 38% cut with the Thrive failure.
That is just not a sufficient amount of money to cover, particularly in a place like Baton Rouge, where we have a more significant crime problem, and it's not, our crime isn't just a bunch of misdemeanor thefts.
District Attorney Hiller Moore spoke to the press club Monday, dealing with money woes of his own and facing extraordinary lapses in getting cases to trial, some taking at least 8 years, like the case of Ryan Sharp.
We lost 30 employees in 16 months, which is, I've been around this business, this office for 50 years. I've never seen anything like this whatsoever.
Moore agrees something also needs to be done with the public defender.
Because you can't have an outsized DA and undersized public defender.
Currently, Starnes says they get $50 million per year from the legislature, but without more money, even trying to recruit lawyers to defend the state's indigent is a tall order.
There's over 1,000 people around Louisiana whose relationship to the office is by contract. So we contract with them. They're not employees of the state at all, so they don't have state benefits.
Starnes says his office will determine what monitoring is needed to address the deficit spending in the auditor's report, but he believes funding the public defender system has been what he calls an unequaled challenge over the past 60 years. Liz?
All right, Chris, thank you for that one. Some good insight.